You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. Hello everyone, it's Allison, and before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to just kind of give a quick announcement. So I'm taking a little summer break from the podcast. I've got some very exciting personal adventures planned for this summer and also some really epic client trips that are coming up on the horizon. So this pause is really just to give me and my team a little space to breathe and reset and focus in other areas of our business right now. But I didn't want to leave you hanging with nothing to listen to over the summer. So I am going to be sharing something really special. I'm going to be sharing a behind the scenes audio series from my hike on the John Muir Trail. So my husband Michael and I set out to thru-hike the John Muir Trail back in 2020. So that is a while ago now. We were aiming to finish it in 22 days, but due to some massive wildfires and a full national forest closure, we had to bail early. This is something we definitely didn't expect. So this series, for some reason, we decided to record like a daily podcast back then. This was before I even had the podcast. But this series is going to be showing you a real, raw, behind-the-scenes audio that we recorded on the trail when we were out there doing the John Muir Trail as we dealt with all the highs, the lows, the relationship dynamics, and also the huge disappointment of getting kicked off the trail early in 2020, and then our eventual comeback in 2021 to finish it. So if you have ever dreamed of hiking the JMT or you just love a good adventure story, you are going to love these sort of like bite-sized episodes that are coming up of our kind of behind-the-scenes trail diary. This is something that I've never released before. So I really think you're going to enjoy this, and it will kind of like fill that, adventure itch that you might be getting while we're taking a little break from our normal episodes. And this series will run through about mid-August, and then we will be back with fresh episodes on the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. If you're listening to this kind of midway in the series, be sure to go back and listen to previous episodes. But at the end of the day, I hope you enjoy this and that it's a nice little kind of thing to get you excited about your own adventures and maybe even eventually pursuing the John Muir Trail one day. All right, let's dive in. Hello, you guys. We are officially in our tent, and it's the end of day one. Not quite on the JMT yet, but on our JMT journey.
Yeah, day one, it was all sorts of exciting. We were just super happy that it happened because we weren't sure it was going to happen, as you guys know from the last podcast. But you already heard about all that. So what are your initial thoughts from day one?
I thought day one was, well, first of all, like we should say that for this hike that we did, like about 14 and a half miles and maybe like 1,600 feet of gain or 2,000, we're not quite sure, somewhere around that range. And anyways, I thought it was fine. Like, I thought it was really fun doing a new pass, Cottonwood Pass. I hadn't done that before. But then, like, my body has just got really tired at, like, the last 3 or 4 miles. And it just felt like a little bit brutal getting into camp. But it was not that bad.
Yeah, that was my initial thought, is that, like, well, we got it pretty easy compared to what's coming.
Yeah.
But
it It was one of our longer mile days, though.
Yeah, but it was still a lot of miles, and considering, and we haven't really done much in the last week and a half or 2 weeks because I busted my knee, and we were busy doing a bunch of other stuff. So, we were feeling a little bit like where we're getting acclimated to our legs and the weight. But how do you feel what were your weakest points as far as like what hurt towards the end? Like, what were you so...
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like my backpack could be better fitting or something. And we've talked about this a lot. And I have this like really big bag that I bought for mountaineering a long time ago. And I just use it for everything. And it's a great bag, but like with all the weight, like, it just puts some pressure points on my hips and shoulders that are kind of annoying by the end of the day. And then also I'm using trail runners, and it was so sandy. Like, the trail at the beginning of or I guess the all day today was just super sandy. And so like I constantly was having to like empty my shoes, and they were like causing some hot spots. So I'm going to be like taping up my toes a little bit tomorrow just so I don't get any blisters.
So let's talk about that for a little bit, because people like gear. I got a new pack for this trip because I have a similar pack to what you have right now, a mountaineering bag. But I've always thought my bag was uncomfortable. And I got a new bag because I knew I wasn't going to have it for this long a trip. And then for you, I don't know, you had that bag for so long. I just thought you just liked it. But today it seemed to have kicked your butt a little bit.
I always forget.
You have a millet, right?
It's a millet, yeah.
Or millet?
Millet.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's like a 80-liter bag, and it's great because it's like so much volume if you need it, but like pretty lightweight bag, even if it's like you're not using the full 80 liters.
It's a nice bag. It's got, and you don't have it nowhere near 80. You have it like
no,
more
not for
like
this
a
trip.
50 or 60. So it compacts down pretty well.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, I just think sometimes I forget that I have, like, whenever I go on short backpacking trips, it's like, I just don't think about, like, it being painful because I'm like, oh, this is short, whatever. I don't know. I think I've gotten used to suffering, and I just don't think about it, which is silly. And I'm like, maybe should have gotten a slightly more comfortable bag for such a long trip. But I don't know. Also, I might get really used to it in the next couple days.
You might grow it, because you always say it usually hurts at the first day. Now, we've, like I said, similar bags. We had similar bags, but you backpack a lot more than me. So when I would go, I would just put up with it. Yeah. For the most part, I use that bag as, and I bought it for climbing. So we'd shove a bunch of rope and gear, and you do like a short approach hike and call it a day. But the few backpacking trips I did with it, I was like, it's not the most comfortable, but for this, I was like, yeah. And the new bag I have, it made a world of difference. Yeah. It's not only 2 pounds lighter than my other bag. My other bag was almost 4 pounds, but it's got way more padding. And at the same time, given that it's supposed to be sort of like an ultralight bag, it's got a nice frame, very, very nice, but it's a very simple frame. It's basically temp poles in the shape of a Y. And then the padding. But then I was thinking like, okay, it can only be so comfortable because, But then after today, I was like, wow, it just comes to show how a little extra padding comes a long way and proper fit.
So long story short, Michael loves his new bag.
Yeah, and it's a Sierra Designs flex capacitor, and they come in three different sizes. First of all, a great name. If you guys are Back to the Future fans, you get the reference, flex capacitor. But but let's rewind a little bit. Let's start. The beginning of the day. Where did we start the day? When?
Well, we wanted to start the day at 5, but we actually woke up at 5 instead of starting the day at 5.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted to be on the trail at 5, but whatever. And we got started. I didn't sleep very well last night. I was like, my brain just like went to Doomsday, and I was just like imagining our car catching on fire and like us like walking into a plume of smoke.
So we got started a little later than we wanted, like you said, but it was perfect. The sun.
Sorry, that crunching is my sleeping bag.
Yeah, your sleeping pad
It's so
sounds like
loud.
a bag of potato chips. You sleep on a giant bag of potato chips.
But also, I do want to say, like, it felt surreal this morning, like, taking those first few steps, because I feel like it's felt fake, like, this whole trip and, like, planning for it has felt fake.
Yeah.
Until this morning, when we first stepped on the trail, and then it was exciting, and I felt, like, super stoked. But also, I felt like we should have, like, Lord of the Rings music playing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that would.
I felt really disappointed that we didn't have it downloaded.
Acceptable.
Yes.
Because we got to see the sunrise. We got to see that alpine glow coming through the peaks and down into the meadows. And kind of the sun was coming out full blast around the time we started doing our first switchbacks to our first pass, which wasn't that big of a deal. Today was not that much elevation gain as you heard, but it was awesome. And then when we came out when we topped the first passes, when we saw the smoke out in the distance, and we got to kind of see what it's been doing, right? And it's like it starts out blowing northwest, northeast, and then later in the day it swings around kind of clockwise down to like southeast, which is why like people say that it just changes throughout the day, but it seems to have been pretty consistent. And around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock is when we started feeling it and smelling it a little more and stuff.
But I feel like overall it wasn't as bad as like I had dreamed and imagined up in my brain.
Yeah.
Like I just had, before we hit the trail, I was looking at all those Facebook groups and it looked like some people posted photos and it looked like the apocalypse. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to hike in that. But this wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Today.
Some areas from afar did look like that, but it wasn't too bad. Although there is ash falling right now.
That's true.
Very small amount, but like I can see on the top of the tent, like the shadows of the ashes. And I think we've gotten a little bit used to it from last night. And we were wearing our masks as soon as our M93 masks.
N95.
N95?
Yes.
Okay. M83, like the band.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
And that helped a little bit. So, not too many people on the trail, right?
No, we ran into a couple groups.
Of like 3 groups.
Small groups, like couples.
And then one.
And Michael lost his.
Oh my God!
He
my
lost his lens cap.
Lens cap. Yeah, so I lose my lens cap, and I think it gets knocked out of my lens. And I typically keep it in my pocket off the whole time, but I must have gotten distracted and put it back on my lens. And my camera hangs on my waist, and it kind of rubs against my pant leg. So I don't know, it might have fallen off. Didn't notice it. Then we come across this couple.
Well, I was just going to say it wouldn't be a trip with Michael unless you lost something.
Well, there's that. But let's not talk about that.
So, day one.
So
Your parents will appreciate that.
Yeah, they will. They'll be laughing at that. We come across this couple coming from the direction we came from. They were kind of going fast because they're doing the JMT in like half the time, right?
Yeah.
And I asked them if they saw a landscape, and they said yes. And it was 2 miles back. And it's not just 2 miles. If I were to go back to get it, would have been 4.
Yeah.
So I decided not to go. The problem is, you can replace those lens caps for really cheap, but there's 22 days. I'm just more worried about, at the end of the day, storing my camera. I'm going to be very careful, but for the most part during the day I keep it out. So keep it off. So I decided not to go back because it would have been 4 miles round trip. And we came across another couple later, and they were going back the way we came. And I told them if they see it, to leave it at our van, because they were going to eventually end up where we parked our van. So we'll see. It'll be a mystery until we get back.
Yeah, we'll see.
And the Sony branded lens caps are actually $45, believe it or not. You don't have to buy those. You can buy like a generic one for really cheap, but that's kind of like the mentality behind it too.
Well, and now, like, so all of that shenanigans happened. I feel like otherwise, like, our hike, it was not eventful. Like, it was a good hiking day, but, like, you know, we went up a pass, and that was pretty, and we saw the smoke of the SQF complex fire, and then we went downhill for, like, the rest of the way, too. And right now, we're camping at Rock Creek Ford.
That's amazing.
Which is really nice. And we, there's one other person here, but there's like a bunch of space for tents. And then it's right by this little like creek.
It's a pretty big
really
creek.
Nice.
And it's, we have one neighbor, and we helped him out because he asked if we had an InReach mini because he wanted to send out a message to his family. And you helped him out with that, right?
Yeah, that was complicated, but it's fine.
Hey, we got to test it out at least. And then
I had already tested it out. I don't know what you mean tested it out.
Well, you never know out here in a new spot. And then we set up the tent. You got more water for us, and then
I've been using a lot of people might be interested in, like, we are testing a new filter on this trip, which it's not our only filter. We did bring backup, but we got the Be Free from Katahdin. I think that's how you say it, right? Katahdin.
That's what you said.
Yeah. I used to always call it Katahdin, but then some PCTers corrected me. So I think it's Katahdin. But
you were probably
I'll probably be saying it wrong again. But anyways, the Be Free, and it's really nice. I really like it so far.
Yeah, so far it's very basic.
I read a lot of like mixed
or a fiber.
It's like a fiber
filter.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Sawyer Squeeze, but it actually like supposedly filters a little bit faster.
It's really weird. It looks like spaghetti, just like a string of spaghetti that filters your water.
Yeah, it's not quite. That sounds like if somebody's trying to imagine that right now, they're probably like imagining something so different than what it looks like. A string of spaghetti inside of a little capsule is what he's trying to say. Like a mop.
Like a mop. Yeah.
Okay,
like
anyways, it's a great filter so far. We haven't gotten sick either, so. Well, but I did bring backup because we brought, what did I bring?
Those pills?
No, Aquafina? I just, like my brain is.
Did you bring something else? I didn't know you brought something
Aquamira, that's what I did. I brought Aquamira. And we brought potable tablets. Like, I kept that in Michael's. I just didn't want to trust a new filter that I had never used for a whole 22-day like trip, and I'd also read people talk about it breaking, so I just didn't want to like.
You're cracking me up right now because our faces are like 3 inches away from each other.
I can't.
You're creeping closer. It's very weird.
Well, we got this giant tent. I'm not used to it. I need to be closer to you.
So, guess what?
What?
I caught some trout.
Oh, yeah. Michael caught trout today, too.
So, I brought a fly rod. And I only have one other day of experience with a fly rod. And I've been trying to practice, like I said, back in Mammoth with absolutely no luck. And
he's caught
today,
like nothing.
I've caught basically every cast I caught something.
Yeah.
In this small
really
creek.
Good.
You know, it's a nice sized creek, but
what did you catch?
I caught golden trout, 5 of them, and I'm very happy because I thought I literally was like just I had an aura of just deflecting fish away from me, and I'm glad to know that I'm normal. And these fish have been small, but eventually we'll catch some bigger ones to
I
cook.
feel like we got into camp and he was like, babe, I'm going to set up the tent. Can you filter water? And then like, as I'm filtering water, like he's setting up the tent, but he's getting mad because he did it wrong first. And then like
it's my second time setting up this damn
he finally gets it right. And then he grabs the pole and just like, I lose him for the rest of the evening, I feel like. And I'm just like,
But I took some photos, too.
making the dinner, cleaning the dishes, putting the smelly stuff away, filtering more water.
But it's taking photos and fishing. I mean, the lighting was amazing. I'd rather not have the smoke, but the smoke has been creating some very bizarre lighting, which, as a photographer, I can't help myself. Mm-hmm. I made you do some weird stuff today.
He did. He made me get in a tree.
It was a cool tree,
that I was
though.
Not interested in getting into because it was very hard to get into.
I gave
and I
you
was
my
wearing.
knee.
You wanted me to wear my backpack too. And then we get into said tree after
and I can't get the shot I wanted because you're like, hurry up, I'm falling.
Well, my backpack was falling off the tree.
So dramatic.
And then all of my abs, my one ab, was holding me up into the tree. Also, it's the end of the day, so I was this tree.
I was losing you.
These tree shenanigans must happen in the beginning of the day,
yep,
when I have energy, not at the end of the day.
I feel like I've been talking to the roof the whole time. So yeah, had a lot of luck with the fish. Beautiful creek, nobody around besides our neighbor, and it's been really awesome. I walked up a little ways and just nobody.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Having come from a place that gets people in the weekends and sometimes during the week, and
but I think we should talk about maybe one of the most important things that happened to us today.
Hold on. What was that?
Our food.
Oh, definitely. I thought we were gonna keep that a secret. You gonna let the secret out?
Well, they already know.
I know, I'm just kidding.
People already know. Well, anyways, shout out to Backcountry Foodie for helping us make our meal plans. But we finally got to taste the meal plan we spent 24 hours putting together on last Saturday.
This is going to be very exciting until we repeat the meals because it's we're blown away by the stuff we were able to bring in this trip with minimal weight. So
yes, and all of these are recipes from Backcountry Foodie, and we made them all. So they're all DIY backpacking recipes. It's nothing. We didn't end up buying any sort of prepackaged dehydrated meal or anything. So we had, what did we have? We had
for breakfast we had yogurt.
Yes, dehydrated yogurt, which is insane.
Amazing.
And it tastes pretty good.
It's very tart.
I think it was because we added the raspberries, and that made it pretty tart.
Yeah.
But it was still really good because he had the
good
granola on it, too.
And it had granola in it as well.
And it's 20 grams of protein, which is nice.
Very nice. So that was a very good start. We actually tried it with our finger when we were prepping it. And
we tried it with our finger.
You don't even need water. It's if you have saliva, it'll work because you don't need that much water for you. You ended up making soup or your yogurt because you put way too much water.
Yeah. And then, we had some random snacks chips, bars, Snickers. But we also had midday trail tabbouleh. And I hope I'm saying tabbouleh right, but I think...
Probably not.
I think I am. But that was awesome because that was a cold soak recipe. So we had it already prepackaged and we just added water, and then I let it hang from my backpack while we were hiking for another hour, and then we ate it.
Which is what was suggested. That's probably the longest thing that we have to soak. Everything else we can probably just eat right away. That and the ramen.
But that was so good.
Oh no, the ramen's hot.
Ramen was really fast.
So, yeah, and that was really good. It was freaking...
It was just unique. I usually just have bars when I'm backpacking. For midday, I just snack. So that was a fancy snack.
Yeah, and I ate mine with tortillas.
I didn't have a tortilla.
You had some pita chips that you snuck from another day.
Yeah, that's I stole chips from another day.
You stole chips from yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to hear about it.
I'm going to be sad when I don't have chips.
Go looking for chips.
Okay. And then for dinner, we had...
Wait, did we have any other snacks?
We
had protein.
Oh, yeah.
Protein shake.
Chocolate peanut butter protein shake in the middle, another midday snack.
With powdered chocolate with PB3, is it?
It's got PB2. PB2. You always get your numbers mixed up. You're M83.
You're pronouncing stuff wrong, so.
M83 mess.
And And dehydrated milk.
Yeah.
Or powdered milk.
Powdered milk. And it has, some other chocolate thing in it. I forget the name of it. But anyways, it's really delicious. And you just add water. And we bought these 16-ounce Ziploc, what do you call those?
Ziploc brand little Tupperware.
That's the word I'm looking for. Little Tupperware bowls. And we can drink it out of that. And I did that, and that was really smart of me.
I was trying all day to not use the bowl. So I was eating everything out of Ziploc bags, and the shake got me. I spilled it all over myself, so Bear's probably going to come in here and eat me.
Yeah. But then for dinner, we had garlic Parmesan ramen noodles. And that was really good.
That was very good. It was just...
Garlic Parmesan.
Garlic Parmesan, yes. That was
garlic
very
Parmesan
delicious.
Noodles, and that was delicious as well.
We heat up water, we soak the noodles, and then we drink the warm water, which is nice because it's getting chilly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got like a buttery taste.
Like you can pour out the water, but we just drank the water because it like just soothed. Also, like I always just think anytime I have to have water when I'm cooking backpacking, I'm like, I should just drink this because it's probably good for me to be drinking more water anyways.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a weird ramen tea. But anyways.
It was very delicious. What was your favorite?
But we didn't mention dessert.
Oh.
And then we had dessert.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, so Erin told me when she made these meal plans, she's like, I originally made these desserts where you're supposed to share a serving. She's like, but you might want to make it to where you have your own serving. And I was like, I'm for sure making our own servings. And I'm so glad we did because I would not have wanted to share with you.
Allison's a dessert freak, but...
It's like I love Michael, but do I love him that much? I don't know.
He must, because we don't eat dessert every night. You could have dated somebody
but if I had
ate dessert every night.
I wouldn't share it.
But that was amazing. I think that was my favorite.
Oh, did we say what it was? It was apple. It was like an apple cobbler.
With graham cracker.
Yeah. So it was like for the backpacking version of it was like dehydrated apples with brown sugar. And I forget if there's something else in it. But then you add you add hot water to that and a little bit of hot water. You stir and then you add coconut oil.
Oh, okay.
And then you add graham crackers, and then you
it was
eat.
Mind-blowing.
It's really good. I'm kind of sad that we only have 2 meal plans that have desserts.
Yeah, you told me that.
I don't know why.
That is pretty devastating.
Pretty sad.
I think, dinner and dessert was definitely the winner.
Yeah.
The Parmesan noodles
and also these like recipes are supposed to have olive oil, but we couldn't fit olive oil into our bear can situation for these first stretch of the trip because the days we just have like 6-day stretch and a 7-day stretch. So I think the tabbouleh would have been even better with olive oil. Like it just would have given that richness, you know. Same with the garlic Parmesan noodles, but it was still great without the olive oil.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about the noodles needing olive oil. But the tabbouleh nice. For sure, yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite.
Yeah, I think, I
liked it all.
If I had to pick, the dinner and dessert for sure.
Yeah, and the shake's really nice. It's kind of like nice to do a protein shake in the middle of the day. I never, ever would have thought of that for backpacking.
Just the whole meal, our little daily bag of what we're eating that day is exciting. Every time you pull it out and you just see all the stuff in there, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have this later. Because like you said, we're not used to packing food like that ever.
Yeah.
And then on the longest trip we do.
Like today, I was a little bit hungry when we showed up at camp. Like
you're always hungry though.
I think that when I packed, I ran out of some of the food I was supposed to have, so I just like left it out. But I definitely was wishing I had like a few 100 extra calories.
Yep.
So
I think I caught a trout big enough to eat after we already made dinner.
Yeah.
So save it for another time.
I feel like you should catch a trout that we want to eat when we haven't had like a really long day.
When we have more time?
Yeah, just like
Or
it's a
something?
more chill day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Unless you want to cook it.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking I would,
Okay.
but we could figure that out.
Anyways.
This hasn't
This is
happened.
like a side conversation. But yeah, I feel like that's it. Like now we're in our mansion of a tent. We got a big Agnes Copper Spur Ultralight 3-person tent, which ironically was lighter than our old 1.5 person tent.
If we basically, and we have one this size, but it was not lighter than our 1.5. But we went backpacking with some friends that had this tent, and then
We
when
had
we saw how
tent
roomy
envy.
it is, and we saw how much lighter it was. We're
Yeah.
like, what are we doing with our lives?
This is really nice, and it's like we have so much space, and there's so many pockets.
and there's 2 doors.
I just
And
really
these
love
are
it.
overhead pockets
Yeah.
too, not like the ones that you have to like look for next to you. This is like big time.
I'm a fan because in the Kelty, you would always be in my space.
I mean,
You would always be
we
taking it
fit,
up.
but our bags or anything we had with us would end up on top of our head or below our feet. And just having the little extra space is going to be really nice. And the fact that, you're not sacrificing weight is up, even bigger plus. And I know they make way lighter tents than this,
Yeah.
but you're not about them.
I mean, no, I don't mind them. I have a 1-person tent that's super light. It's like 1 pound. But I just don't want to do the whole, like, it's not really a tent. It's just a rain fly thing.
Yeah, with the walking sticks.
Yeah. Like, I like to be enclosed. The tent is my sanctuary at the end of a long day. I like just feeling closed in and like I have my space. And that's just kind of how I am.
We
just
should
like
do
it.
a like animal sightings of the days before we close out.
Okay.
We
Would
didn't
you like
see too
to
many.
do?
We
would
may
you
not
like-
see any at all, but
But we did have an animal sighting.
we did. We had a family of deer, a mom with three little ones,
Yeah.
3 fawns, is it? Come to the creek, right across from where we're staying.
They pranced to the creek.
They pranced.
And then I thought they didn't see me, and I was staring at them, and then they looked right at me, and I was like, oh.
And then a marmot scared the crap out of me because I went to fish on this wall of rock, next to this wall of rock, and right at head height was this ginormous marmot. And then I saw a hawk. I'm not sure
I
what
thought this
kind.
was like animal sighting of the day, not all the animals we sighted for the day. You're like listing all of them. You're like, we didn't see that many, but let me tell you all the
right,
animals
we'll do
that
this
I
animal
saw.
sighting of the day.
But anyways, but yeah, okay. So as a wrap up, we achieved our goal for the day. We made it to the camp that we wanted to.
We were going to go further, but
No, we
there's
weren't.
need.
Originally, we were going to come here. The only reason we were going to go further was because of the fire. And that sounded miserable because it was going to be like 4,000 feet of gain and 20 miles or something.
Yeah.
It's just not a great first day, in my opinion. So I'm glad we stuck to our plan. And then tomorrow, we're headed to Guitar Lake. It's going to be pretty much uphill the entire day, so I'm going to be pretty knackered.
Shorter miles, but much more elevation gain. But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yep. All right.
See how that goes.
It's almost night,
Yeah.
it's like only 7 o'clock, but I want to go to sleep.
Yeah, I can see you passing out again.
Okay, thanks for listening, y'all.
Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into to your adventurous identity. And that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsaboutpine.com/waitlist. And you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.